Hi, it's Tony and a very warm welcome back to Sailing LRA. The video that is following this is a little adventure that I went on a recent boat trip, and if you're a fan of the Epropulsion electric outboard, or you're thinking of buying one, you might want to stick around and see how that went. It was a lot of fun, and I hope you are going to enjoy what's following. If you have not subscribed as yet, that would be magnificent if you could just click that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video, leave a comment and give that thumbs up button a big hit. Thank you so much, and I'll see you at the end. Hi, it's Tony. I've decided to go on a bit of an adventure in the dinghy, and I have a few reasons for doing that. First reason is because I just want to do it. Second reason is because I thought it might be a bit of an adventure to take a trip up the Lane Cove River as far as I can. And the third reason is I wanted to see how long the battery on the Epropulsion would actually last. So this will be interesting. Let's have a look and see where we're going. Today we're heading out of our mooring, turning left and travelling along one of Sydney's last remaining green belts. We're going to head approximately 4.6 nautical miles up to the Lane Cove River National Park picnic area. So you can see there that the Epropulsion is about as full as it can be. There is virtually no wind. And the tide will be going with me, so the tide should be coming in for most of the trip up the river, which will help us a little bit, of course, but there's we're basically at slack tide at the moment, so let's see how we go. Here we are cruising up in fact, the Lane Cove River, and just about to get to the Fig Tree Bridge, which is that one ahead of us. And I have tried to the best of my ability to get my speed app going to give us an idea of how fast we're going. And I keep on getting network errors, blah, 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 blah. So forget it. Behind there you can see a wonderful view of the Sydney Harbour Bridge as we head up the river and away from the CBD of Sydney. It is a beautiful area, and if you ever have a chance to have a look around here, make sure you do. It's just lovely. These are, of course, the lower reaches of the Lane Cove River, which, as you'll see soon, becomes quite different as we get into the Lane Cove River National Park and all of the houses start to disappear. One of the landmarks on the Lane Cove River is Fig Tree House, built on property once owned by a pioneering businesswoman, Mary Reeby. Some of Mary's original cottages can still be seen. Mary did really blaze a trail, and her legacy has been preserved with her inclusion on the Australian $20 note. leaning forward to try and get the boat leveled out. It goes faster when it's leveled out. It's really uncomfortable on the backside, on the edge of these hard aluminium seats. It's a tough life for some. Looks like there's some old industry up here. It looks very interesting. What we're looking at here is what remains of the original Chicago starch mill, opened in 1894. Under various owners, the factory produced starch, corn flour and various other ingredients for cooking up until only a few years ago when it was closed down. The proximity to the river was important not only for transporting products to market, but also to transport coal and oil to the factory to power the furnaces used in the manufacturing process, and electricity to light the mill in the early years. We're on the final leg of the journey now. Of the upriver journey anyway. And we are approaching the picnic area of the Lane Cove National Park. It has so far taken us, let me get back to my stopwatch. It's taken us 1 hour and 7 minutes. Let's have a look and see what the airports say. It bodes well for getting us back. Now I will say that I intend to give it a little bit on the way back, and we should also be against the tide, so we'll wait and see. And here we are approaching the Lane Cove River picnic area. And there's the causeway, there's the end of our journey. We can go up the river further, but that would mean me carrying the boat over the top of that, and I have not a lot of desire to do that. Righty, so it's taken us 1 hour and 15 minutes to get here. Let's put the foot down and see how fast we can get back. So at the horsepower we were using before, we have according to the engine, just under 2 hours of power left. Let's give it some and see how we go. I want to take a moment to talk about the Epropulsion outboard. I'll do a full 12-month ownership review shortly, but I want to focus on a few key things here. First of all, being able to do this trip with a silent outboard was just amazing. I got to see lots of wildlife that I might not have if I had been using a noisy petrol outboard, and also save my sanity. The second thing is the wattage versus horsepower argument. Everybody knows that 1 kilowatt does not match 3 horsepower in a mathematical comparison. No one's claiming that. What is being compared are certain performance characteristics. Having owned a 3.5 horsepower petrol outboard, I can safely say that the Epropulsion is not as fast as that outboard. But it definitely feels to have equal, if not more, torque. I don't call upon my dinghy to get onto the plane ever. But what I do call upon it to do often is to push against tide, chop, and wind. These things don't seem to trouble the Epropulsion. As a matter of fact, the torque will throw you out of the boat if you aren't careful. I had comments on my initial video about the comparison and was told off for not doing my homework. Obviously, I'd done plenty of homework before buying. I don't think anyone spends this much money on an outboard without doing some homework. It's interesting, when I challenged the viewer about their comments, they'd vanished into the ether. Another pub expert, it would seem. Another thing that really impressed me on this trip was the fact that the usage time left on the battery that was shown on the monitor matched pretty much to the minute my stopwatch that I had running. I was really impressed by that because I'd always thought of these things as a bit hopeful and maybe a little bit inaccurate, but this seemed to be right on the money. We're 25 minutes into the journey. The river's got a lot wider. We've also just passed our first navigational point. But we're now under 40 minutes left on the outboard. Getting a little bit nervous, I have to say. Guess we're about to hit some tide, and we're still halfway up the river. We've still got a fair way to go. So let's see how we go. We now have just over 20% left on the battery. The battery is showing we have 20 minutes of travel time to go at this output. We're not going to do it. So I'm going to reduce our pace and hopefully get us home. So I've now reduced our wattage down to around 400, which is around the pace that we travelled upriver, and the battery has given us a few extra minutes of life. The pace has definitely slowed. I wish, as I said before, that I had the ability to do a speed check. The battery is now showing 31 minutes. And there's a possibility we may be able to do this. We've got one last bend, and then we're into the main area of the Lane Cove River. So once we cross under that Fig Tree Bridge, we're in the main area. But we've got 31 minutes left on the battery, and at this pace, let's have a look at the pace. So at this reduced pace, we may just be able to do it. Definitely tide flowing there, definitely tide against us. We've also got breeze against us as well, and the motor is showing 29 minutes. We need to go way up there and go around that corner and then round again. 29 minutes. We may get there yet. We are now back in Alexandra Bay. So 5% showing on the battery, 10 minutes. All we need to do is go about 500 meters and we're there. Made it. Oh. At the pace we were at, we had 5 minutes left on the battery, so we've done it. I hope you really enjoyed that, and what was interesting was that even though I increased my speed on the way back, it didn't really take a lot off the finishing time, if you like. Yes, I was against a bit of wind and a bit of tide, but it only took about 5 minutes off my journey, even though I had increased my speed for probably 75% of that trip. In any case, I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I look forward to catching up with you in the next one. Bye for now.